Hi everyone, Sarah Pacaro, Rapid Transformational Therapist. I'm going to share with you today we're going to talk about boundaries. Boundaries are huge. Everyone that I work with says, I just have a really hard time. I struggle with setting boundaries, whether it's with a narcissist or anyone in your life. It could be with people in your work life. It could be with family members. It can be with the ex. It can be with the current relationship. It could be with anyone. Boundaries are really essential part of living and a really difficult thing to put in place as we think, oh, I did it once and it didn't go as planned, so I suck or I failed or it didn't work. So we're going to talk about reasons why everything you know about setting boundaries with a narcissist is probably wrong. So what does that mean? Because you know boundaries, you know that you need them, and you know how beneficial they are in every area, experience, and relationship that you have. But what is it about it? Because people say, well, just set boundaries, just speak what's on your mind, just assert your truth, like tell them how you feel, tell them how it is. But when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you opt to disclose some of your troubles, and these are the suggestions that you typically receive. So friends, family members, even therapists or counselors, whoever, will encourage you, sharpen your communication skills, just tell them how you feel, set boundaries, let the other person know exactly how you feel, don't hold back. As if these are some magic answers or cure that will take you to this path of healing. But merely speaking more clearly can change years of agonizing and insidious abuse. So you'll notice that you feel like, okay, if I'm supposed to just speak my mind and speak my truth, then things should get better, right? And oftentimes they don't. So these suggestions or this comment that you hear of just speak clearly, tell them exactly what's on your mind, it doesn't work. So you start to question and wonder, is it even possible to set boundaries with a narcissist? Well, here's the first thing. The narcissist does not give a flying about your boundaries. They don't care. They don't think, wow, look at them setting a boundary. How healthy is that? No, they don't care about your boundaries at all. They certainly don't care about your boundaries the way that you care about the boundary. So let's examine the nature of boundaries for a moment. So boundaries are very effective when healthy people share mutual levels of respect and compassion for each other. When they get it. Hey, I'm with my kids at night and I'm trying to put them down for bed, and when you call at 7, it's really distracting. So can you call a little bit earlier? Maybe can you call before dinner time? Sure, absolutely. Okay, that's a healthy boundary, where there's mutual respect and compassion for one another. The narcissist does not have that, so they don't care about your boundary. Boundaries work when both parties are equally hope to improve the quality of the relationship. Guess who doesn't care about the quality of the relationship and only cares about getting their needs met? So, when you focus on setting boundaries with a narcissist, you are focusing on trying to change that person. That won't work. Trying to change that person never works. The only person you can ever change is yourself. I say this all the time. So here's the reality, is that you, in trying to set a boundary with a narcissist or trying to change them, are living in a false illusion that the narcissist will genuinely care about your needs and desires. Time to wake up. Narcissists care about power and control. They care about one-sided validation and praise. They employ drastic measures of manipulation to meet their selfish needs. They need and have to be right and win at all costs, without question or recourse. That's the problem with them. So therefore, when you attempt to set a boundary with them, they perceive this as a personal attack, as if you are doubting their amazing, wonderful perfectionism. And how dare you do that? Because if narcissists can acknowledge mistakes or weaknesses, because they cannot acknowledge their mistakes and weaknesses, they will react to your new boundary with a variety of amazingly dramatic reactions, including gaslighting, getting you to question your own sanity, complete and utter denial. Again, gaslighting. I didn't do that, and you should do this and do that. Or abuse. Certainly emotional, sometimes physical, because it induces the narcissistic rage because you have hit this thing within them and caused narcissistic injury. You will notice that it'll be met with cognitive empathy. Defensiveness. Remember that narcissists don't care how you feel because they only care about how they feel. So when you start to question how they act and set a boundary with them and say, look, when you act this way, this is going to be the consequence, your intentions for this positive change through setting this boundary are extremely, extremely likely to backfire. Here's the second thing you have to know and keep in mind. You have to re-examine the boundaries. Not the ones that you put on them, but the boundaries that you have for yourself. You need to re-examine these. Instead on focusing what you need from the narcissist in your life, focus on what you need from yourself. So this is a sense of self-respect. Self-respect goes out the window. Belief, confidence, self-worth go out the window when you've been in a relationship with a narcissist. But getting back to this, you need to focus on what you need from yourself. Is it a sense of respect? Are you looking for a happy and healthy relationship? Are you looking for someone who can unconditionally love and support you? Are you looking for all the above? Well, expect that this internal search is going to be painful because you have lived in a world where this was not present. You have created and engaged and been a part of this world where this wasn't present. And you've most likely devoted so many years to focusing on what the narcissist needs. I cannot tell you how many people that I speak with that say, I know all about, I stay up watching you and videos and all this reading about narcissism, all these books and like TikTok video, all these things about the narcissist. And I say, well, that's great. You know so much about them. How about you? It's all about you getting to know what you want and need and deserve and what's keeping you from that. This is the most challenging part, is that you haven't acknowledged your own wants, needs, or desires, because for so long it's been about the wants, needs, and desires of the narcissist. So shifting your mindset here is very difficult, but so important. It is gutting to learn that the person who received so much, all of your love, your attention, your support, your respect, does not reciprocate those basic needs and wants that you have. So as an adult, as the adult that you are today, it is your responsibility. You're no longer being raised by mommy and daddy, your grandma, grandpa. You're an adult, and it is your responsibility to care for yourself. So we choose who we allow in our life. We get to choose how much of ourselves that we are willing to give. I choose, I am willing. Those are extremely powerful statements. You are not a defensiveless child anymore, and you don't owe anyone anything out of any obligation anymore. Let that sink in. So at this point, the realization of traditional boundaries doesn't work with the narcissist, and you likely face this conundrum. What kind of relationship do you want with this person? Better yet, do you want a relationship with them at all? If you have to have a relationship with them because you share a child and you have to, I can't even use the word co-parent because co means cooperate. They don't cooperate in parenting. If you have to parent with them, you'll see it's extremely difficult. So what kind of relationship do you want? Not what kind of relationship do they want with you, where they're going to still kind of control, manipulate you, take you back to court, do all these things to you. No. They're out of your life. They're out of your life for a reason. So what kind of relationship do you want with a narcissist? So, paradoxically, you will learn that narcissists love boundaries. They love them because it gives them the tool, the power that they need. This rule, this thought, this belief may seem counterintuitive, but stay with me. After all, if you have tried to set a boundary with a narcissist in your life, you know how it turned out. It doesn't turn out very fun. And it's usually pretty traumatizing the way that it turns out with establishing this boundary. If you do this, this is going to be a consequence. And they go, oh, really? Okay. But after the dust settles, you'll realize that the narcissists know when you establish a boundary with them, they now know exactly what means the most to you and what things they need to start or stop doing to get you. Establishing a boundary with them tells them exactly where your trigger points are. And this is precisely how they keep hurting you because you say, if you do this, then this, and they go, huh, watch me do this. And this tells them exactly how to keep hurting you, which means that this juicy supply that they continue to get and have available whenever they want. Because remember, you are a source of supply for them. So sharing your boundaries with the narcissist also gives them perfect ammunition for a seamless hoovering attempt when they want to get you back under their thumb after painful discard and subsequent silent treatments and running out. They know exactly. It is mind-boggling, but I used to tell my ex, if you drink one more time, then guess what he would do? Go drink one more time. And guess what I would do? Let him back in. So establishing a boundary with them gives them perfect ammunition for another hoovering attempt. So when the narcissist has a deep, intimate knowledge of your boundaries, it enables them to continue the dysfunction. All the while, you keep working hard to salvage the relationship and say, I just want to get along, I just want to do this for the kids, why can't we just? And the person you think that you love, or you thought that you love, is merely a phantom conjured up with the narcissist. It's all a false sense of reality. It's the narcissistic mask that when it slips and you see. And they do this in an effort to hook you. We talked about this before. It's like they throw out a line, they hook you, and they reel you back in with all this stuff. And they hook you through your heart, because the people that they end up with are forgiving, loving, caring, very emotional, very empathetic, and they forgive. So that's why you need to turn that around on yourself and give yourself this radical acceptance. The truth about the narcissist puts you one step out the door. So the first step is awareness of who they are, what they are, and the ways that they work. So the next one is to radically accept what is and consider no contact. So radically accepting what is, as you know, they will never change. This is who they are. I know what the next step is. Okay, we've just had a discard or silent treatment. They're going to come back and love bomb, hoover, gaslight. So knowing about the narcissist is this radical acceptance of what is. I can't change that person. I don't need to change anything about myself, and doing that is not going to make an impact in any way. They are who they are. They're not going to be different. They're not going to go out and magically fall in love with someone and have this romantic, beautiful relationship that you so desired with them. It's not going to happen. So this radical acceptance, you have two options for setting boundaries to have your needs met in a narcissistic relationship. Try to radically accept that the narcissist will not change. Stop resisting, stop fighting, stop trying to feed these what if scenarios. What if they meet someone else? What if, we finally do that one thing he's always said, that if we do this, then we'll get better. Cease trying to appeal the long gone inner child. These actions are exhausting, and you know this. Trying is exhausting. Everyone I work with, speak with, says, I am exhausted. Mentally, emotionally, physically, I can't take it anymore. It's extremely exhausting. It takes a tremendous toll on your physical, your mental, your spiritual, your emotional health. It takes a major toll on every part of your life. Narcissists are who they are, and by radically accepting them the way they are, you choose to stay in a relationship with them. If you're taking the good, the bad, the ugly, you choose to let go of these expectations, this instantaneable desire for change. They cannot, will not change, and you choose to accept this dynamic. It is what it is, right? And this doesn't mean that you're allowed to not feel upset or angry. Acceptance is not the absence of emotions. Instead, acceptance is acknowledging the emotions without acting on them. That's one of the biggest struggles, acknowledging the emotions without acting on them, without acting on this behavior of trying to justify or validate or over-explain things, without trying to defend yourself constantly, without expecting that the narcissist can somehow be different. They can't, and they won't be different. So if you can, go no contact. One of the greatest, most beautiful gifts you can give yourself is a box of no contact wrapped in a giant, beautiful bow. Detach from the toxic relationship. Learn to master that self-discipline. And if you feel that you can't, there's a trauma bond there, and I can help you work through that. Learning how to tell yourself no. Set a boundary with yourself. Tell yourself no. You want to get on social media and stalk them or like check out who they're with now. Tell yourself, no, that doesn't serve me. I'm not falling into that trap. You unknowingly put yourself back in their traps when you do this. So it is so important to strengthen and heal from within to become a strong, resilient person. This is especially true if you were trying to maintain no contact with an emotional abuser. Blocking and unblocking your number. Block it and keep it blocked. Self-discipline goes so far when maintaining no contact to help you achieve and maintain and keep your recovery goals and realize your dream of freedom. Everyone wants to be free from the narcissist. Guess what? You're keeping yourself stuck if you break your own no contact rule. But many times achieving these recovery goals for yourself requires you to sacrifice time, it requires you to sacrifice money and energy, and you most likely prefer to spend that on other things, but you've got to spend it on yourself. Are you willing to have this dedication to get what you want, to be free, to be happy, to have peace in your life? Are you willing to invest in resources to help you escape this situation? Are you willing to leave your home? Are you willing to cut off toxic friends and the flying monkeys and people who you thought were your friends? Or are you sitting there binge watching Netflix and stalking them? Self-discipline allows you to have a greater focus. By shutting out the things that you take away from your recovery and your healing, you can focus on what's most important. And I promise you, guarantee you, the most important thing in this world, in this life, is you. And if you have kids, you probably disagree and say that it's them, but you can't help them if you don't help yourself first. So this may mean not going out with friends. This may mean, staying home and watching like your favorite movie or pizza or whatever it is, allowing you to be who you really want to be without all this a hoopla of who you think you should be because that's who you were told you should be all this time. It may mean instead of watching me on Facebook, you read a book or you go for a walk or you do something. You care for yourself. You spend time with your kids or with your pets. Focus is nearly impossible to achieve without self-discipline. And if you're struggling with self-discipline, you're going to see that you're struggling in your recovery too. So your healing is going to be nearly impossible to achieve without focus. So many people I speak with say, I'm just stuck, I just don't get it. But you have an inner belief that you're not worthy and deserving of that, but you are. But are you choosing this? Are you willing to do this? Are you willing to focus intensely on extracting yourself from the abusive narcissist, stay in no contact? Are you willing to train yourself and engage in new healing habits? And if you are, then you're willing to move out of step one, where you take that victim label off, rip it off, and say, this is about me now. No longer about the narcissist, it's about me. So I hope that this boundary setting talk has helped you. They don't care about your boundaries. You need to start caring about your boundaries and establishing them within yourself. That's what's going to make the biggest impact. So thank you guys as always for tuning in. Hope this didn't seem too preachy, but I'm here for you, support you, and love sharing information to help you move towards healing after being in a toxic and unhealthy relationship. So if you would like more information about connecting personally, one-on-one, working together, then please reach out. You send me a message or click on the banner, and that pulls up my website, which has my calendar and time to connect on there. Thank you guys as always for tuning in.